Hi, I'm Heather from here, booktubes, and today is a ranking of the Tortured Poets Department album by Taylor Swift. Usually my content is books, and I do have a book recommendation video for Who's Afraid of Little Old Me? You Should Be. I'm gonna do that this week. I'm pretty excited about it. Usually talk about books. There is going to be a vlog section right here at the beginning of the release day because it's for my 24 and 24 vlog. If you only want to see the ranking of the album, you can either just skip to where you see me again in this setting, or I will try and put a timestamp in the description. My friend gave me a detailed tutorial on chapters and I never implemented it, so we are still amateurs over here. That's gonna be the next thing in the video, and then we will come back here for my ranking. Either see you in a few minutes or in 1 second when you skip all of that. All right, it's 9:30 Thursday the 18th, and I'm freaking out over the music video stills like this. Like the fact that it was actually a psych ward. I didn't believe that theory for a second. And I was wrong. I am freaking out. Freaking out. I can't wait. Alright, I slept in because I was tired. So I'm a bit late to the party. I gotta ignore the text from my sister because I don't know what she's talking about yet. Yeah, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I'm so ready. We're about to find out the sound, which is all I've ever wanted from my life. Freaking out. Freaking out. My stomach is like full of butterflies. Oh my god. Taylor Swift, where are the lyrics videos? We don't have the lyrics videos? How am I supposed to know the lyrics? Okay. Alright. Usually on the first listen, I always listen to the lyrics videos so I can read it and know what it's saying at the same time. Okay. I was supposed to be sent away, but they forgot to come and get me. For a fortnight, there we were together, running to the sad tides, come and turn. I swear, now you're at the mailbox. What are we talking about? Oh my god. I have no idea. I like it. I can tell you that. I'm really excited to hear the other song. Wait. The second album was real? That is insane because they're always talking about how it's gonna be a double album drop, and I'm always like, no, it's not. Calm down. It is! Who's Afraid of Little Old Me has me like, I'm gagged. I love this song. For sure. I love this one. Good boy. That's right. I can't. Peep the sweatshirt. So far, So Long London and LOML are the saddest songs. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is so interesting because it's such it Eras tour music behind it, and then it's like, I hate everything. This is terrible. I loved The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived.
Who's the smallest man?
I don't know. The ending of the album was so interesting when she name dropped herself. I had the best day because I had everything planned around just listening to the album and watching reactions. All right, I've finished my first listen of the double album, The Tortured Poets Department, the anthology. And I don't even really know what to think or what to say. I have no idea. I've got nothing, folks. This is why I don't do this for a living.
Love story, the modern version. This is a song. I'm so scared of you. Is this like folk
So this was supposed to be one of my 24 and 24 vlogs, and it is one of my 24 and 24 vlogs. I'm absolutely counting it towards that total, but I had done that when there was originally only supposed to be 16 songs. I was like, this is great, and that'll include a couple of reaction videos and the other things, and those will be my 24 things in 24 hours. Then it turns out that there was almost twice as many songs, and there's 31 songs. So now it's 31 things in 24 hours, but it's definitely counting because, like I said, I don't want to do another vlog or anything. Like, I want it to be this one. So that's what we're going to do for those of you, watching all those vlogs with me. I was really excited and planning on doing a lot of reading journaling while I was listening and watching to everything because it's the perfect thing to do that with. Zach, the Swiftologist, nailed that initial reaction on part 1. Now we're going to watch Steven.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. This is Steven in Stereo.
Just know that The Cruel Prince, the book that I'm doing the spread for, definitely belongs in the Who's Afraid of Little Old Me recommendation video. Just know that. But anywho, I had planned on doing a bunch of the spreads for my mid-year flip through for my reading journal, and I did get several of those done, and I'm excited about that because this is several hours worth of work, so it was really the perfect day to spend the time doing these journal spreads. I also filmed my May reading journal spread this day. It's just not in this video, and so, like, all around, great planning, Heather. I did want to show you guys, if you watch the 24 and 24 vlogs, what a day of basically just doing things that I enjoy and putting all of the responsibilities on the back burner or on bare minimum. It's 1:20. I'm partway through my second reaction. I haven't seen anybody react to the double album part yet, and I got a break and feed my children lunch. I just want you to know, it is 3 o'clock. I'm having an amazing time. Also, as of right now, I think The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived might be my favorite song. I had the best day today. This was so much fun. Here's my ranking. And I've kind of got like my favorite parts of the songs ready to go so that we can talk about it. So my number 1 favorite is Who's Afraid of Little Old Me. I'm obsessed. The opening being the who's who of Who's That is so funny to me. I think that it could be 2 different things. One is, people that no one has ever heard of that are important in their own minds or important in their little social circle, but ultimately, like, no one knows who they are and they are passing judgment on Taylor Swift. Or also, the who's who of Who's That could be the most prominent people in her group of detractors, right? Of the people who are like, Taylor Swift, who's that anyways? I think that that's quite funny. If that is not my taste in books summed up in a single sentence, I don't know what is. But just know that, like, everything about all of the metaphors, the circus, don't worry folks, we took out all of her teeth, all of that works for me. My second favorite is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. I really like this style of song. I think that the In Your Jehovah's Witness Suit is also hilarious, but this is my favorite part. I don't miss what we had, we could someone give. A message to the smallest man who ever lived. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper still a spy? In 50 years will all this be declassified? 'Cause that's why you did it. And I'll say good riddance, 'cause it wasn't sexy, it wasn't forbidden. I would have died for your sins, said I just die inside. Music for prison, but you won't get time. This is such a fun, especially if you don't know the twist, but it's such a fun thing in fiction and in movies where they had a secret identity the whole time, and you find out about it and things start to make sense. And of course, because I read romance books, usually they work out, but this is one where like she never got the closure of why you would betray her like that, and you're the smallest man who ever lived. I don't know. There's something about just the scathingness of that delights me. Next is I Can Fix Him, No Really I Can. And I think that part of why I really love this is because everyone knows that you can't fix him. And there's nothing that you can say that's not going to be met with skepticism about that, right? Because we know you can't fix a man. But also I really like the style of the song. Doesn't need to lift a finger. I can fix him. No, really, I can. Praise kink coming in. That's right. The fact that she included a praise kink entire section in this, and you cannot change my mind that like she didn't do that very intentionally. This is like every dark romance book I've ever read. So just know that, like, so many books come to mind for this, and that is so much fun to me because it's just like the doomed thing that, like, as soon as you say I can fix him, you're doomed, and we know this, and then the way that she ends it with whoa, maybe I can't, because we knew that she was going to end it with she can't, because you can't. But epic. All right, next is How Did It End? And I have thoughts on this that I haven't really seen anyone talking about, but I feel like are very blatant in the song. So I'll start with the beginning. So this is completely about the audience, right? In this case, it's literally the audience of Taylor Swift and the public, but then it goes to, the person that you know in your life, and their marriage ended, or everything got called off, or, things imploded, and there's this thing about they go home smug to their husbands because they know that they can trust them. And that is like such a thing when you are in a relationship, whether you think that it's good or not, there's kind of this just mindset of that you can be entertained or appalled or surprised by other people's misfortune and love because yours is solid. You don't have to worry about yours. Of course, your man isn't secretly cheating behind your back. And you have this whole belief about how you got one of the good ones until it's part 31 of Who the Fuck Did I Marry? I think that is like true, especially people who judge people who have been in and out of relationships while they've been in a long-term relationship the whole time that you've been bouncing back and forth between relationships. And the ending of the song really ties it together, I think. My next favorite is The Prophecy. This should not really surprise you because I'm a reader and I just feel like this is very reader coded. Hand on the throttle, thought I caught lightning in a bottle. Oh, but it's gone again. And it was written, I got cursed like Eve got bitten. Oh, was it punishment? Guess a lesser woman would have lost hope. A greater woman wouldn't beg, but I look at the sky and said, please, I'm in my mind, please change the prophecy. Don't want money, just someone who wants my company. Let it once be me. Who do One, I really love religious imagery. That's the ex-evangelical in me probably, but so I really like all of the religious imagery in this album, just like I do in any album that includes it. I like the Eve line and the punishment, and it's pretty self-explanatory that Taylor Swift has long believed like she wants to be in love, and because she is a romantic to a ridiculous degree. And she also just believes that like she is not going to get that happily ever after. My next favorite is LOML, or Loss of My Life. And this part right here gets me. The dancing phantoms, are they secondhand embarrassed by watching me that I can't get out of bed because something counterfeit is dead? And also, like, you have more images of wanting a family with this person and talking about it and them kind of making fun of you for it behind your back. But more than that, it's just the dancing phantoms. Are they secondhand embarrassed at how depressed I am that something that wasn't even what I thought it was is over? Unbelievable. Next is Guilty as Sin, which is about a mental affair, right? So it's all about, is it cheating if it's only in my mind? And in a lot of ways, I would say, yeah, absolutely. Like, I just feel like personally, if you're in a relationship and you are actively fantasizing about being with somebody else, that's a sign that you probably shouldn't be in that relationship. If he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind. Like, do we need to talk more? I love that imagery also. Next is Cassandra. So fantasy romance. Blood is thick, but nothing like a payroll is probably my favorite line, other than the I was in my tower weaving nightmares. I think that it's really clever. Next is The Bolter. So this is my favorite. All her fucking lives flash before her eyes. It feels like the time she fell through the eyes and came out alive. I just have a good time with it. Let me live. Next is The Albatross, which is basically, I think, all about warning Travis Kelce, especially during that football season, warning Travis Kelce that Taylor Swift was going to ruin his life. He was never going to win at football ever again if he stayed with her. Wise men once said, wild winds are death to the candle. Wise men once said wild winds are death to the candle. So basically she's gonna snuff you out. Also, cautions issued, he stood shooting the messengers. I didn't know that that's what that said until I was watching the lyrics video, but that is so, if you're gonna be in a relationship and people are telling you not to be in that relationship, you both have to be on board. It can't just be one of you. Yeah, it's gonna be her weighing him down. again, like that can be used for any relationship where you have like a family or again, you see it so much in romance books, but where you have people saying, hey, don't be with her. Like, she's a gold digger. Don't waste your life on her. My next favorite is Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. And it's this one part right here. If you want to break my cold, cold heart, just say I loved you the way that you were. I don't feel any need to give any sort of explanation for this because it's just sad. Like, it doesn't matter what it applies to, it's sad. My next favorite is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. And what I really like about this is I think that the majority of people knew that she was not doing great at the beginning of the Eras tour. I think that that's okay and that's fine. But also, like, the production on this sounds like the Eras tour in so many different ways. And then the words are so sad. And I watched a TikTok of a widow that I follow, and she said that, like, how the song hits so differently when your spouse has died. And now I can't unhear that. I'm sure you're gonna see a lot of TikTok sounds about I cry a lot, but I'm so productive. It's catchy. What do you want from me? It's catchy. Also, this is so hard to not just like sing over everything because no one's here to hear me sing because I cannot. All right, so my next favorite is The Alchemy, and I think that this is so fun on purpose. I circled you on a map. And then later on where it's like, where's the trophy? He just comes running over to me. I like all of the references, the football references. I think that's fun. I like that she used touchdown in multiple different meanings and definitions. I just have a lot of fun with it. I can't listen to it without vibing out. My next favorite is The Black Dog. I think that this one is like incredibly sad. It kills me. I just don't understand how you don't miss me in the shower and remember old habits die scream. 6 weeks of breathing clean air, I still miss the smoke. Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke? Now I wanna sell my house and set fire to all my clothes and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Even if I die, I want to hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons, even if I die screaming from the exorcism. And I hope you hear it. Like, dramatic? Yes, but What a point. All right, my next favorite is So Long London, which is the track 5. How much sad did you think I had? Did you think I had in me? How much tragedy? Swore that you loved me, but where were the clues? I died on the altar waiting for the proof. You sacrificed us to the gods of your bluest days. And I'm just getting color back into my face. I'm just mad as hell 'cause I loved this place for so long. Again, like, I think it's self-explanatory why I would like it. Obviously, we've had like a lot of references in her music to sad songs and them liking sad songs and them being a sad song and how that wasn't sustainable over time. And I think also just being like, you said you love me, but like there was never the proof of it, and I tried and I died on the altar of it. My next favorite is Fortnite, and this is my 16th, so this is basically the top half we have just covered, and then we'll have the bottom half next, and this is gonna be a long video. Obviously, this is the music video and it features Post Malone. I really liked in the music video how she took the forget him, the miracle move on drug before her manacles were unlocked. The lyric, the effects were temporary, you know, really illustrates a rebound relationship. Next is My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, and I have one specific part of the song that I really like. Oh, here we go again. The voices in his head. That's it. Here we go again. The voices in his head. There are kids playing outside. We'll just have to deal with that. She has a song, I think it's a Foolish one. The voices in my head tell me why. Okay, so next is Florida. I really like Florence and the Machine. I like her voice and everything. But I like the build-up. It does get in my head. Next is Peter, which is another Peter Pan reference. I really like the line in Cardigan, tried to change the ending, Peter losing Wendy, because that's definitely how I felt as a kid watching the movie and knowing the story. We have, you know, all of the references to the Peter Pan story. Tell me you haven't read a book where they made vows together as children that they were going to be together when they were older, that they were going to help each other get out of that place and be happy, and then one of them forgets and just doesn't do it. My next favorite is So High School. Obviously it's about Travis and about the feeling, and I think that if you are the same age as Taylor, like I'm 33, she's 2 years older than me, if you are in that same age bracket, this feels very nostalgic because of just the style. Yeah, it's another one that's just fun. Next is I Look in People's Windows, and I definitely think that this is referencing Death by a Thousand Cuts and how you look in the windows of this love, even though we boarded it up. And it's also very much like a movie scene or a book scene where you have that happenstance meeting, or just that outsider looking in, or you know, you see them with the life that they chose. It kind of feels a little bit, this is insane, it kind of feels a little bit like Becoming Jane, when Jane Austen like runs into the guy that she wanted to marry and that wanted to marry her, but financially they couldn't. Okay, anyways, it makes me think of Becoming Jane or Little Women. Those are my thoughts. All right, next is I Hate It Here, which this is the song that has the line about, I used to play the decade game with my friends, and when they would ask where I'd want to be, I'd say the 1830s, but without the racists, and getting married off to the highest bid. And obviously a lot of people have singled this out as a discourse. So first of all, I think that yes, the context matters, and yes, it's weird and problematic, and I think that she knew that when she put it out. I think that obviously the first thing that comes to mind, the 1830s in American history, is that it's before the Civil War, like in the decade before the Civil War. So anyways, if a Black person specifically is like, yeah, I hate that, they're entitled to that. And if you are like, well, that's just because they don't understand, let me stop you there. Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there, because I guarantee you they do. I promise you they do. They get it. They got it. They understood it. I hate it here, so I will go to secret gardens in my mind. People need a key to get to. The only one is mine. I read about it in a book when I was a precocious child. No inside city hopes and small town fears. I'm there most of the year 'cause I hate it here. I think escaping inside your imagination or your book or your media or your entertainment is something we all understand. Next is Fresh Out the Slammer, which I think this line is insane. I just find it so interesting that you're in a relationship and you know when you end this relationship, you know the person that you're gonna let know that you're free, you're available, you're single and ready to mingle. Obviously, as we go down the list, I have less to say about each thing because it's not my favorite. Next is Down Bad. Now, Down Bad is AAVE, or African American Vernacular English. So it is its own dialect. It's like its own recognized language, all this stuff. And I try to avoid using AAVE because it is used as slang when white people use it, and then or anyone who's not Black. And then when Black people use it, it's kind of used as they're just not intelligent enough to know correct English, and that's used against them in job settings and academic settings, in court testimony, in all aspects of life. So when white people say it, we know that's not right. It's just slang. But when they say it, they're literally too dumb to know any better. And until that systemic racism, not only again in like those institutions, but then just as a society and in the public, systemic racism is alive and well in 2024. I just don't think that white people should really use AAVE because it's a double standard. So Down Bad is AAVE. I have always known it as the definition of being like really into someone, but here it's used as its other definition, which is depressed. So those are a bunch of thoughts that nobody asked for. Now I'm down bad, crying at the gym. Everything comes out, teenage petulance. Fuck it if I can't have him. I might just die, it would make no difference. I can't stop watching the TikToks where they're like crying and then shaking ass. Yes. Next is Clara Bow. I think that this is really clever. I just don't think that like I cared to listen to it over and over again, but I think it's very clever because you have Clara Bow and then you have Stevie Nicks, and then you have Taylor Swift. I think like you don't have to know very much about Hollywood or the music industry or the entertainment industry as a whole to understand how this is relevant and how this makes sense and how this is something that is so commonplace. I also think that it's interesting that for her own criticism, she said, you know, you look like Taylor Swift, but you've got edge, and she never did. And I think that is something that is often said about her or lobbed at her, and definitely is used to praise other singers, which absolutely no shade to them. Like, I'm here to support. I'm a supporter, and I think that if you are comparing people constantly, I mean, that's just not a thing that I enjoy. I think that I can enjoy music from you, and I can enjoy music from you, and they can be drastically different, and they can both be good. I don't know. I don't struggle with that. That's not a problem in my mind. But yeah, I think that this is true. Next, we have the Tortured Poets Department, the title track. I don't really care about this one, but here we go. I think it's interesting that he was like a tattooed golden retriever, but that he woke up and was writing it. Like, again, if you read romance books, there's so many like morning afters where the hero runs away, and it's just like, okay, cool. Next is But Daddy, I Love Him. I don't love this song. I think that it's clever in a lot of different ways. I think that everyone freaking out about her saying I'm having his baby is weird, and you deserve to get trolled for it, I guess. Like, did not take that as a pregnancy announcement. Y'all are so weird. That's all I got for you. I do think that it's a very interesting thing how she said, you know, everyone constantly criticizing her and trying to tell her what relationships to be in and what not, and why they should be or why they shouldn't be, without ever knowing the players involved, is kind of like small town busybodies who are invested in the life of like the neighbor girl and the bad boy, and they're like, stay away from her when it's really none of their business. I do think that people who are using this to be like, that's right, I never called Maddie a racist and I was on the right side of history. Y'all are weird. Like, you should call out racism. You should call out people for being racist. That's not a bad thing. You're not on the right side of history because Taylor Swift said, I'm tired of listening to you all complain about every aspect of my life. You're not on the right side of history because you don't care if somebody's racist. Spare me. We are almost done here. We have the manuscript, the idea of the death of the artist, and you know, the story's not mine anymore. He said that if the sex was half as good as the conversation was, soon they'd be pushing strollers, but soon it was over. Telling a 19-year-old that if the sex is half as good as the conversation, soon you'll be pushing strollers is unhinged behavior. But also not that unhinged, because a lot of older men marry and impregnate young girls. So I'm gonna get you back. I think it's fine. I personally think I already have the version of this that I need with Olivia Rodrigo's song. So I don't really care about this one all that much. I do think that it's good to allow people to write about the same thing, to have similar sounding songs, all of this. And it does kind of go back to Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, where she talks about if you're on her lawn, she'll sue you, and she's drunk on her own tears, and isn't that what everybody said? I do think that some of that is the way that people talk about her suing anyone for anything. And part of it's deserved and part of it's not. And as always, public opinion is not the most nuanced or forgiving place to have any discussion. But yeah, I don't really care about this song kind of because of that, because I already have a song that is the same that I just like better, to be honest. But that doesn't mean that I dislike it or that I think she was copying her or that I think it's a bad song. You Were Never Not Mine. Push the reset button. I mean, it's just about second chance romance, right? Second chance romance is not my favorite trope. Next to last, we have Thank You, Amy. Now, this is hilarious because it has Kim spelled out in the title, and when I tell you, I did not notice that at all. At all. I definitely thought it was about like a childhood playground nemesis, and I do think that it still could be, and it could mean more than one thing. But obviously it does apply to Kim Kardashian or she wouldn't have capitalized it. But for that, I think that it's funny, but I think that it's Mean 2.0. And again, it's just not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination. It won't go on any of my playlists or anything like that. But right now I'm still listening to the album nonstop. So I'm listening to it in the course of the album.
And maybe you've reframed it, and in your mind you never beat my spirit black and blue.
I do think that that's interesting because I do think when we are mean to people, in our memory it wasn't that bad, and in their memory it becomes like a defining thing. A lot of times the thing that hurt you so badly that like lives in your mind rent free, that it's years and years and years later and you're still thinking about it late at night. For the person who did it to you, who committed that sin, they don't even remember that happening. Like, they don't even remember that because they were the perpetrator, and you remember the things that hurt you. You don't really remember so much hurting other people. Last, my least favorite is Robin. This is obviously about childhood and a child, and it's a very pretty production, but I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why it's on here, and for that reason it is dead last, because apparently I'm just not the one to love it. So yeah, that is obviously about childhood. I have children. I like a lot of her songs about childhood and all of that, but I just don't get it. It's just not the one for me, and that's okay. So let me know how your ranking of the album compares to mine. Let me know what you think about the album. Let me know what you think about any of the things, I guess. That's it. Those are my thoughts. I am having an amazing time listening to the album. I've had such a good last few days just listening to it. I love when Taylor releases new music. It is a highlight for me. There is nothing I get more excited for, really. Like, it's fun, it's awesome, it's amazing. So I love it, and it's fine if you don't. It's okay. My next video will be that book recommendation, so I'm really excited about it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.